finish that one. What's up, everybody? My name's Alckemy. Welcome to the channel. I've got a set of apples, and I have my decaf coffee. I quit coffee, so it's the next best thing. But yeah, I apologize for the late stream. I had a pretty lengthy dentist appointment, and unfortunately, I gotta do that. I care about my teeth, so, you know, I gotta take care of all of that. But we're here now, and we're just gonna be kind of having a mellow stream. We'll be doing some sound design. I'll probably just open up Serum 2. I've got a couple requests to do a pack for Serum 2, and I was like, oh snap, I forgot. I hadn't done one yet, so I'll probably try to do something like that. But yeah, hopefully everyone's doing okay. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me today. If anyone has any production questions, please feel free to ask. We did production Monday and Wednesday, and so today we're just going to focus on sound design, I think. Yeah, and then tomorrow we have our tune feedback. So if you want to submit, then we'll be opening that up mañana. But before we do anything, we have some quick play spells to get through, and then we will continue doing our thing. I think this one was the I think this was the last one that we left on, so I'm going to fire this off and then we'll see how it goes. That was cool. Okay, so for some reason, is this showing my desktop? Or what is this? What's going on? Yeah, this is showing my other desktop. Why? The fuck? There we go. Okay, I don't know what that was about, but I've never had to change that before. And you know what? That's what happened whenever I was recording the interview with Tomas. Is that switched over? That's really strange. Okay, well, hopefully that's fixed. That was Neurotica's submission. Let's check out Spoopy Vocals from Velvet. See if we can get chat back up. Oh, that was so short. That was cool though. We've got Burb. Grim. Okay. That's sick. Hey, Numicron. We got ISO with Zoo. This reminds me of a John Casey song. What is that song called? I don't know. I'll find it later and let you know. Name of the sound design stuff I call it neuro. What's the name of the genre specifically so I can study the fuck out of it? That is the best I've ever up there. Halftime and drum and bass. I mean, the West Coast beat, that was just like a hip hop thing. But the first beat that we did, what, on Wednesday, that would be like a halftime track. And like, halftime and hip hop and stuff are so similar. It's just that one of them has more aggressive sounds. But the no plugin challenge, if this is the one that you were talking about, this would be the halftime track. Yeah, that would be in the genre of halftime. But yeah, all right, so we've got one more submission from Velvet. This is called Double Crow. Cool. So if you want to submit to your everyday quick play spells, you can do that here in the Discord. Let me just leave a link here. Maybe. You can submit this in everyday quick play spells. Just make sure that you keep it 15 seconds or less. Clearly, we have people that don't know how to follow rules. Also, make sure that it's safe for work. So I don't want any crazy sex noises or, you know, sounds of people dying or something. But other than that, anything goes, you know. So yeah, cool. Let's go ahead and open up Serum 2. I'm just gonna... I don't really have a plan other than, hey, I need sounds. And actually, should I update this? Warp amount, fix to crash, fix to crash. No, that's fine. Maybe next time. Go ahead and resample that. That's interesting. Is there a bandpass filter on here? I guess you could make one. And make this one bipolar. My little discover VO snare with effects section replacer generator and white noise generated by grid. It works good for DMB. For what? A snare? Is there a way to... The noise knob is useful. Right on. Yeah. Okay. It's not terrible. Um, Distortion. Another filter. It's my first time catching a stream. Would you have any advice on approaching a sound design challenge you can't seem to figure out? So like you're trying to figure out how to make a sound, but you can't figure out how to do it. Is that what you mean? Hey, GB, what's up? So yeah, I have plenty of videos on this, but I don't mind explaining it either. Because it's a really good question. So my thing is like, a lot of times when we hear sounds that we're inspired by, we usually hear it in the context of somebody making like a track, you know, and getting it to be exact is almost impossible, just because 9 times out of 10, like even through all the lessons that I've done with people that are like way up here, I've been like, yo, how did you make that sound? And they're like, I don't know. And there's kind of an art to that, you know what I mean? Of like making a piece of sound or audio that's like totally unique. But rather than just being focused on the sound, I would try to look at what you made and be like, how can I like utilize what I've made? The best analogy that I can give you is you need to treat sound design sessions like that, like a Bob Ross painting. You know what I mean? Like you have this guide, or maybe you don't, you know what I mean? But like you're watching him paint the thing and you're trying to like copy the painting or whatever. And at the end of it, nobody that does those Bob Ross challenges are like, man, this doesn't look exactly like his painting. They're like, oh, look, this was my thing. This was my art. You need to treat sound design in the same way. There is definitely an aspect of like getting close and trying to like achieve certain characteristics of sounds, but like, yo, like 9 times out of 10, unless if it's something that's extremely basic, it's never going to be the exact same. And like the earlier that you can accept that, the easier and the more that you're going to learn about how to find your own sound and then like also contextualize your own sounds. You know, a lot of times it's not even the sound itself, it's how do I make, you know, Like you need to ask yourself different questions. Like, how do I make my bass talk, which I've got videos on, or how do I make my bass have this like tearing sound, or you know what I mean? Stuff like that. That's a little more ambiguous and applies to a wider range, as opposed to what is the formula to make this exact thing. The second piece of that advice is, if you're just like hell-bent and you can't figure it out, reach out to those people and be like, hey, do you offer lessons? And can you show me how you do your stuff? Because 9 times out of 10, they'll take your money and they'll be happy to show you whatever you want to know. There's been maybe 2 people in my lifetime that have turned me down for lessons, and it wasn't anything personal. But that's my take. I can do wired bass design for D&B with only polymer, but when I try to do some wired stuff in Facepaint, it sounds like shit. Sometimes that's just part of it, you know? I consider it not a suitable workflow to conceptualize a track and arrange first and then try to design a patch to fit the idea. Yeah, you mean like do a mock-up of the track? Yes, and that's totally viable. What I would suggest is go, like, feel free to hang out here, but when you get the chance, go look at audiate, like my videos on audiating. Because I think it would help out a lot. You can always replace the sounds, you know? If you make sounds that are shitty, you're like, oh, this sucks. Just use it as a placeholder and then replace it with something better, whether it be a sample or when you get better at sound design, whatever. But composition is king. 100%. There we go. It's a little bit better. Bruh. Hey, what's up, Jazz? How are you? I'm gonna add one more thing to this. I would like a comb filter. I'm just gonna put one of these on here. Making some chicken. I love chicken nuggets. I'm good. I just got back from the dentist. Dentist sucks, but it's not the worst. Try some FM from B. Hey, Angel, what's up? Long time no see. Set this to sample and hold. Mono, retrig, like a bar. Wait, what? Why does it do that? Do 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 do. Bruh, why does it do that? Oh, life. You crazy bitch. You're just crazy bitch. Okay. Cool. So now I'm going to add a convolver after the utility. She got beat one day and the sound went off that moment. Dog is spoiled. Well, you know, sometimes dogs are just reactive to certain things that just set them off, you know. But it's not that big of a deal. I can, what's it called? Definitely turn it down. There's an audio follower, isn't there? Is it audio rate? No, oscillator, filters. I think what we do is we go to oscillator 1 and go into this and then go down to the convolver. Cool. Let's also do another filter here at the bottom. I just want to see if I can pull out this thing a little bit more. So we're going to go here, maybe 12. Multi-normal, like a band 24, perhaps. Oh, that was the wrong one. Fuck. No wonder. I was like, what is going on? Fuck. This was the one I wanted. Band bash. I want to go to Panera Bar. That was the best freaking keyboard shortcut that I could have designed. It makes things so much easier for me. Can I right click this and change this back to a different loudness meter? Um, Noticing this weird habit of adding the same amount of distortion compression to my sounds. I'm wondering if it's too much, but I'm used to it. Any thoughts? Oh man, it's like that's the whole thing with sound design. Is like if you like it, then like just do that. I mean, that's what I do. I use an insane amount of like crazy distortions and stuff. Why isn't this working? Oh, now it is. This is getting stuck, and I don't know why. That sounds so cool. Probably just sticking within the patch itself right now. I really like the way this sounds. Maybe I want another compressor. I don't remember what I... There's a way to clip it, but it turns it down significantly. Let's try that. Go into the audio here. See what this is doing. Sounds pretty nice, to be honest. That was cool. Yeah, that's pretty sick. Is there anything that anybody wants to see? Sorry, it's hung. No, no, hardly at all, if anything. I'm just doing it because just to do something different for a bit. Honestly, I've been mostly just Bitwig. Most of the time, just Bitwig stuff. Like, I'm still the best at sound design and phase plant. Like, I don't think that's ever gonna change. Phase plant is just too insane. That being said, I can still do some cool stuff in these other synths too. Yeah, I've been doing a lot more stuff in the grid lately as well. Yeah, I mean, it's just not my preference to do stuff in Serum just because it takes so long to get the stuff that I want out of it. Part of it is a skill issue, but the other part of it is just like, I don't know, annoyance. Something of the sort. It's like, man, I gotta work so hard at this. Oh, fuck. See, noise. Yeah, of course. Ever made a whole track with just one synth? It's kind of all I do now. Just found a forum challenge where you have to use one forum synth for each month and make the track just with that. Yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of times where I've done that with Faceplant, or I actually did like I did an ad for Current where I made everything in Current. I was gonna film a video over this, I just kind of forgot, but yeah, all of this was in Current. I'd say you're good. Yeah, so I mean all of that was just within Current. But yeah, right now I'm just working on making a few serum patches and stuff because some people have been asking me to do a bank, so I'm just kind of making some stuff and being like, oh, this is kind of cool. Why does that sound so harsh? Filter. Filter 1, filter 1. Filter 1 goes to filter 2. There we go. Alright, so what's causing that sound? There we go. Oh, shit. Bass floss. What's up, Alex? I guess what I could do is just use a master compressor here. And then we'll just set this to limit. But then we'll also grab a utility. Curious what's making that sound. Maybe it's this. But why? What the fuck? Crazy. What does it sound like without this again? It sounds cool, but I don't know, maybe I could do just like a band notch or something instead. Let's see what that does, if anything. Yeah, I just don't like that really high-pitched sound that's at the top of that. So, just gonna do another filter here. It's kind of cool. Do you all have any plans for the weekend? I used to complain about serums, or like Faceplant not having serums things so much, but now I'm just like, dude, why is this so difficult to work with? That's fucking sick. Crazy. So if I can take away whatever sound is making the whoop, which I think is this. That's fucking awesome. I'm going to do another equalizer here after this because I want to see what's going on here. There we go. That's pretty crazy. That's a pretty crazy sound. I still would wish that there was a way to kind of toggle back behind the other one that we did, because it sounded more like lower and more aggressive, but yeah, I actually like that one better. Sick. Feeling kind of Doom-like. Yeah, I mean, if we were to throw, like... all of those little textures and all that is just, ooh, it's chef's kiss. That was so sick. Man. Those sounds. Ooh, man. It gives me chills. I love basses like that. That's like my favorite shit. Yeah. Maybe a different direction that we can run into is I can keep this. Maybe we can see what other stuff this has to offer, actually. I really like the suggestive nature of the low end. It's a bit much, but there we go. That's a lot better. It looks like I actually have quite a few sounds. Interesting. That's pretty dope, man. Yeah, that's one of my favorite sounds I think I've made in a long time. To be honest. Yeah. Baby?
What you doing?
Just making sounds. What's up?
I was gonna watch another gangster film.
Oh, yeah?
What do you think about American Gangster?
That's a good one with Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's another one of those that my brother would put on for 6 fucking months. Yo, you dog, you want to watch a movie? Yeah, what do you want to watch? American Gangster. Can we watch some Disney shit or something? Anything but that.
Anything but that.
It's a good movie, though.
Yeah. We're gonna split that donut later.
Yeah. You need anything? You okay?
Yes, please. Just relaxing.
Yeah, I'm kind of chilling too.
You
She's all mad. Yeah, this keeps getting hung up.
Recording to logbook.
Thank you for subscribing. Oscillator. What the fuck? It's so weird that it's just... There we go. So I really want to pull that out and see if there's a way that I can get that to like really, really pop. So ow. There we go. Oh, oops. Not that one. That's pretty sick. Yo, tell me about private lessons. They're 40 bucks a session. I guarantee you at least an hour. And we go over whatever you want. I prefer that you have like a bunch of questions and then we go over them and just troubleshoot them. Oh. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Sick. Excuse me. Yeah, it's a cool sound. I'd probably want to build a custom rack for that, but still sounds pretty cool. I don't know what else to call this, but it's just like depends on what you want to learn. Like, if you want to learn drum design, I'd probably recommend the course. But if you want to learn about like actual production of like mindset and maybe like beat making, getting ideas started, how to think about things, that's where I think a private lesson would come in, to be honest. Because the thing is like, as much as I love making drums, there's so many other people out there that have drum samples, myself included, but you know, they're like getting access to drums is really not that big of a deal, you know. Um, Hello, Oin. I don't know what you said, but it seems like a compliment. Thanks. I don't know. I can't read Russian. Yeah, that's a pretty cool sound. Is there anything that anybody else wants to see in Serum? Or actually in anything? I'm kind of just having fun and chilling. This thing I think was a highlight of today though. Ugh. Yeah, that's probably my favorite sound that we've done today so far. But yeah. I need to see how many patches I've made and like where I'm at with both with kilohertz and phase plant. Like, I mean, that's a lot. But when did I put out? Okay, so from here minus this. Oh my god, I've made 121 patches since I put out Ecclesia? No fucking way. Are you for real? Wait, I think that menu select is not mine. February 8th. Holy shit, I can't believe I've made that many. Obviously, I wouldn't use all of these, but that's crazy. Real life snare rack. What is that? I think that's the thing that I did with the comb filters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. It's pretty dope. Do I sell presets for faceplant or Serum 2? Is that what I mean by patch? Yeah. Appreciate the videos and resources, man. Got me back into proper synth sound design. Pretty much only use Operator, Analog, and Diva for the past 9 years. Feels good to be back. I mean, those are really solid choices, you know? I mean, for the most part, I'm honestly trying to, like, not do stuff in other synths. I'm really wanting to go, like, 100% Bitwig. But I can't. I call it a skill issue, whatever. I just can't yet. Yeah, I'm also sorry it made you wait 10 minutes before you typed. The reason why I do subscriber only is because I get lots of, like, you know, people that come in here and just say either hateful things or bots or whatever. So if anybody's watching this, because I think everyone in here is a subscriber, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to what makes me want to go 100% Bitwig. Just utility, you know, inverse, like, yeah, pretty much just utility. I mean, for the most part, I make my drums almost 100% in polymer now. I mean, I can make drums out of anything, but yeah, I just kind of want to be able to have access to that. I'm not necessarily, like, opposed to it, but yeah, I don't know, man. I really like the way that Bitwig sounds for the most part. You can get some dope shit out of it. It needs some OTT answers. Figured on weeding through the trolls, but using their 5 seconds. Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people might come in and, like, say some dumb shit, and then if I don't respond immediately, they leave anyways, or, like, come in and dislike the video. But yeah, I really don't expect anybody to subscribe, which I would say, if you don't like my channel, don't subscribe. Block me. I don't give a fuck. But at the same time, if you do subscribe and you do chat, I'm usually pretty good about reading what people say, because I'm just as invested in the conversation as I am with the sound design. Man, that sounds really good. But the thing with this is that I can get the same kind of sound out of this as I can with sorry, out of oh my god, Bitwig stuff, as I can with faceplant. In fact, I think that I have one. Snare concept, metal refresh. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, with this guy, if I were to just maybe add, like, some convolution to this, I feel like stock shit is just as good. A lot of hoops to jump through and not condensed enough. Yeah, that's the big issue, is the workflow most of the time. But to be honest, it's not that big of a deal with something like Bitwig. Yeah. Still get metal shit out of it. You just have to know how to, like, mix the levels in and stuff. So, yeah, I'm on live. Seems very similar. It's more similar than it is different, for sure. I mean, I still have Live 12. Whenever I do lessons, I still have to use it. And, you know what I mean? It's like, Bitwig, so I like Bitwig's workflow for audio, long story short, and crazy modulation, whereas Ableton has much better MIDI devices and probably better stock devices, I'd say. But outside of that, I can't really think of, like, there's some stuff that's within both that I'm like, this is great and I'll never go back. But I don't know, man. It's whatever. Really, most of the time, the way that I make music these days is I'm using one of these sequencers, one, two, three, three, four, one of these sequencers, and I'm making some kind of like weird, cool, kind of interesting thing, and then I'll just do like candid sound design to it and try to find hooks or try to find, you know, interesting things to add to the project, and that's what I do. And as long as I have that, it doesn't really matter the DAW that I work in. And the other thing is fucking rolling sampler. This is the best $20 I could recommend to anybody. Like if you have a DAW, let's say you get Reaper. Actually, Reaper probably has a free version of this, but you know, you spend 60 bucks, you get Reaper, you get Vital. You can make almost any kind of sound in you can make any kind of sound in Vital. You can't make any sound in Vital, but any kind of sound. And then you have rolling sampler, like you're fucking good to go. I'm not a Reaper person. I've tried it. I hate the keyboard shortcuts, and I don't like the way that it looks, whatever, but that's not to say that it's bad. It's just not for me. But you know what I mean? It doesn't, the synths and stuff, what I've learned, all come down into sound profile, not in a means of can I actually, yeah, it's external. So there is a website called birdsthings.com. I can't recommend it enough. It was an easy $20 purchase for me. I think this is it, birdsthings.com. But yeah, dude, it's such a I don't think it's bad, but and the other thing too is like if you just use it vanilla, it can be kind of difficult to work with. But there are so many scripts. Yeah, of course. There's so many scripts and things that you can get that like improve your workflow optimization, if that makes sense. I just I just don't care to. I want to open my thing and then have everything work. To which the one thing that I have set up in here that is kind of important is just my template, but it's honestly not that crazy. I have a sidechain template, I have a kick channel, I have a drum channel, and then this is just for like one specific technique that Cage taught me a long time ago for crushing hats against kicks. But other than that, it's like, here's my master chain. Almost everything is off. This is just a mid side. This is just a over, which is a clipper, a limiter, mono check, rolling sampler, oscilloscope. So like this is doing almost zero coloring to the sound other than saying, hey, don't go over zero. But everything else is like, that's all I needed. Reaper requires the want to customize everything to your personal workflow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's kind of the issue, you know? One thing that I would like to get better about optimizing is using the clip launcher as a sound bank as opposed to putting it on the timeline. I say that, but then again, it's more difficult to scroll through. I think it's fine. I'd rather just have a messy project. As much as I love the clip launcher and the idea, and I'm like, oh, there's so much potential in it, I just can't, I don't know. It's really hard for me to get into it. Reaper is like Blender for audio, insane when you have scripts and add-ons for everything. Yeah, that makes sense. Feels more conducive to improvising and just making shit. I don't know. I think it depends on the person because like Ableton has MIDI cap, right? And that's a really helpful tool for like coming up with musical ideas. Um, yeah, I mean also like the bounce in place and stuff, but Ableton recently added that. You know what I mean? They recently added bounce in place and bounce to new track, which took them, you know, 20 years, but it got there eventually. I guess one thing that I still love that is really like, it doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but is a big deal for me, is hybrid tracks. So I can put MIDI and audio on the same track, or I can just bounce one part of the audio and print that and like not have to move it to a new track for mixing. It helps me condense my track count to significantly less, as opposed to like new track, new track, new track, or whatever. It works exceptionally well. What makes... oh, I already read that. 100% Bitwig. But yeah, is there any other kind of sound that you all want to see? Maybe not so much as in, can you make this sound from this song, but just something in general? Or synth-wise? Or... Actually, here's a question. Are there any synths or like effects that I have that you've been thinking about purchasing that maybe I can like give you a demo on? I don't have any affiliate links other than Bitwig and Kilohertz, to which I don't think either of those... Actually, the Bitwig does work, but yeah, I don't have anything to sell you. If anything, I try to sell you on my sounds or lessons. I want to know what the fuck the pork channel does under the drum bus. That's my percussion channel. Big Sky is great. It sounds amazing, but I can't justify $200 for that. Like, here, I'll pull up the project that I was working on this week. Because this will make more sense. So... where are we at here? Yeah, so I really only have 3 main groups and 2 if you just count the drums and the sidechain. So everything that's not drums goes into the sidechain. But the reason why I have a percussion rack is because there's a drum bus. And so I have my kicks and snares. This sends a click from receiving audio and turns it into MIDI. And then that's how I fire off my, basically like my makeshift LFO tool. But there's also another one inside of Pork that is also being sidechain. So that's why this works. And that way I can process the percussion inside of the drum bus and then have a separate sidechain amount for that. But it keeps it really clean, you know? Yeah. Are you in Spain? Are you from Spain, or you just wanted to say that? So yeah, just as far as like the layout goes, it keeps everything relatively clean because I usually don't. No, I'm just Mexican, but the Spanish did take over my people. Dude, I'm sorry. It's nighttime here in Germany too. Woke up early. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Yeah, so I started this project on Monday. Sorry, I started this project on Wednesday, and then I've been working on it a little bit every day since. But the arrangement is kind of almost done. Maybe do that. There we go. But yeah, I don't know. Cora came in, he said that the top end is not contrasty enough for the main line, but I don't know. I like it. I don't know what else I would do to it, to be honest. So what I do is I'll show you from a new project. Thank you. So what I do is, hold on. Let me get a couple drums in here. I'm not going to design one to demonstrate right now. I hope you don't mind, because that's just super inefficient, but let's get a kick. So let's say we've got this, right? So this would be the kick. This would be the snare. What I do personally is I grab something called a replacer. Please save this session stream video. Yeah, it'll be live. And I grab something called a replacer. Now this is really important because what this does is it takes audio and creates a MIDI signal. And so what I do is I group this and I mute it. And I just have this here. And so every time this hits, you'll see that there will be a little yellow icon, right? Uh-huh, that's my shit. So what we can do is, let me go into my sample pack here and let's just find something that's kind of long. So what I'll do here is I'll grab a MIDI receiver or a note receiver. We're going to find the kick, go to effect layers, replacer, like this. And then I'll grab a tool. With this, we'll use a segment. And this is really cool because I can dial in the sidechain exactly how I want it. And then I'm just going to duck the volume and then group this. And now we can label this as kick sidechain. See? So we can set this to be super fast. And then we do the same thing with the snare. So once we make one, we can just duplicate this. And with this, we'll duplicate this. We'll layer this as snare. Oh, fuck, sorry. And we can change the replacer to the snare one now. Just put in some negative space here. Three hours later, it's a song that will never escape the hard drive. Wait, what? No, I'm not doing a track today. Today is strictly sound design. That does happen to me a lot though. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, within this stuff, you can just copy this and then create a group. And then you can just toss that in there. And then now you've got stuff to work with. And then you can keep adding to whatever inside of the group, you know. You just collage, you know. Maybe something different here. Actually, you can do something like this. And then go for the minimal. And just do like a ROM or something, you know? Wait. We need that to kind of finish. find some other supportive elements here. Wavetable synthesis. If I was learning sound design again, what would I learn first? I can look up tutorials, but information. That's a good question. What would I learn first? Probably FM. I find myself doing way more of FM than anything else these days. Actually, no, sampling. That would be the first thing. Sampling, and then sampling, sample manipulation, like sample mangling, all that. And then FM synthesis. I'm not even sure Logic has an FM modulator. You can get Vital. My thing is, hold on. Okay, there we go. My thing is, a lot of the basses that I actually like are more so with FM. Like less wavetable, more FM. Like I used to be really big into wavetable stuff, and that stuff works really good for like growls. But for me, like some of the patches that I've made have just been mostly from let me see. Just FM. Like even this other stuff. I made this patch for Zayaku the other day. This one's really cool. Yeah. Like, I guess this does have wavetable on it, but it's not really like, it's just basic shapes. I'm not doing any kind of interesting. You know what I mean? What's the typical processing that I put on FM basses? The same thing that I would with Neurobass, which I have a billion videos on. Like even then with this, like this is just very basic FM. But I would say like Learning a vocabulary of effect processing, super important. The shortcut for Neurobase is this. This is what you want to get really good at, is understanding how this stuff works. Because without it, still sounds cool, but as a means of getting that, or this one, without this, still sounds cool, but like I said, man, just this is the sauce. However, like I said before, one thing that Serum, or sorry, not Serum, but one thing that wavetable synthesis is really good at is doing this. We do, I forgot what this process was, but I think that we just do distortion, we go hyperdimension. Put that back in. Oh, wait. We resample to oscillator A. Resample to oscillator A. And then we can turn this off and just use like bin minus and plus. Alt or yeah. So for like growls and stuff, we set this to bin plus, see what that does. Let me set this to bin minus, see what that does. Yeah. Vocoding Reese's with World of Warcraft. Yeah. So I mean, vocoding, that's one thing that you could use as well. That's way too fast, but if we go smooth and interpolation, I mean, with this, just with this sound alone, maybe with like, if you have, I think I have this built in, but if we go to factory user, yeah, the hyper growl here. Then, I mean, that's kind of how you can get those kinds of sounds, like the classic Skrillex sound. Let me see. I actually learned how to do this from AU5's video. Yeah, so I mean, wavetable synthesis is great for shit like that, but I don't know, FM, like I have a digitone too, and I can get such fun shit in that, just with FM synthesis. And if you like reptilians, you know, that bass in there, that do dum 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 dum, which is what I was trying to do earlier inside of this. Sorry, my channel is, or my monitor is flickering. I don't know if you can see that or not. Epilepsy warning. If anybody wants to purchase some packs and help me fix this bitch, or rather get a new monitor, I'd love you forever. It's back to doing it. My eyes, god damn it. But yeah, this one is pretty easy. I think the main thing that you do is you just take a saw wave and you just send it through. What is it? I don't remember. I think for the most part, you take a saw wave, you go hyperdimension, and you go like this, and you go resample to oscillator A, and then you set this and like bin minus and plus on it, maybe. And then you want to do this like just 3 times, two to 3 times, and then it ends up becoming pretty textbook. Maybe some distortion or something. There we go. Yeah. There it is. So and you just make like a vowel filter thing or whatever. I hate that EQs have exponential scaling. That shit drives me so crazy. Yeah, you can already hear it now. We don't need this to go up all the way, just a little bit. And then now you can kind of hear it, you know. Yeah. Sorry. Maybe we can bring this back just a little bit. Yeah, so you can get pretty close just from doing that, you know. Turn that down, maybe add. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one way to do it. Actually, we should find that video. I would highly recommend, like, I kind of go back to that every once in a while just because that was a sound that I was trying to do, obviously, since I first started. But I can't recommend this video enough. If you make dubstep or bro step, whatever, anything, shout out to Austin. He's a great teacher. Check out that video. I literally followed that one time and I was like, I got it. And I hadn't done it since, so I kind of forgot what the specifics of the process was. But also like finding my own way through that and stuff is kind of part of it too. But yeah, this is, you can recreate this in Vital and Serum 1, not a big deal. But super easy. Yeah, aside from that, I don't really have anything else that I want to do today. Does anybody want to see anything or any questions or comments or observations? When Kill the Noise came out of nowhere and had the nastiest, yeah, I do remember that. AU5 speaks alien to someone like me, but he is great. Well, yeah, he's extremely technical. And to some degree, I am as well, but... I don't know. Whenever I teach stuff, I try to explain it like I'm 5, but I've kind of like gotten out of teaching. I have a couple more videos in the pipeline, but I think for now, for the most part, I'm just going to be doing the beat making videos. I see what you do, but I can't do it. It takes time, man. Like, whenever the first person that I ever took privates with was Copycat, and I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? And over time, and even then, like, I'll still hit him up every once in a while, and I'm like, remember when we did this like 5 years ago? Sound particles, the 3D thing. I've looked it up, but no, long story short. I've looked it up, and I actually went to NAMM in 2023, and I asked them if they would want to collaborate and have them send me their stuff, but they never did. And not that I expect them to, but just as being a content creator, I'm always looking for an exchange, you know, because the fact of the matter is that if I do coverage over a video at the risk of my viewers, I'm essentially advertising stuff. You know what I mean? I will say that there might be an advertisement for the Hey Packs coming. And then also hopefully at some point the Oxy 1 Mark II. But those are things that I will use. And those are things that I could advocate, like, hey, this could work for you. But unless if it's something that I'm like, I know that people are going to dig this and it's worth taking a look at. I don't know if you all noticed or not, but I generally don't do, I don't just review anything. And most of the time, the things that I do review, like, I reach out to people for, because I want to put my hands on it. I don't even know what that is. The INA GRM suite? Enagurm? Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Oh, I was like, whoa, I made that? That's That's pretty cool. That's really dumb. Yeah, I'm probably going to be uploading an early version to the member stuff with the plugin challenge, and then also the YouTube Beat 2. This one isn't heavy, but it's just nice to listen to. And I probably will. I have a couple of tracks that I'm going to try to submit to Saturate pretty soon, and we'll see how that goes. But oh, interesting. True. I mean, the main reason why I do stuff from scratch though is because that's part of like my warm up to getting into the groove of stuff, you know? Like I usually, most of the time when I open a DAW, I don't know what I want. I'm like, I just want shit. And so I try to just like be candid, I think is the best way to explain that. Or I might have a loose reference in mind. Like something I've been trying to be better at is actually using hard references for tracks. But the problem is that I can't listen to it on stream because I run into copyright issues, right? So I'll try to like listen to a track beforehand and then be like, okay, I want to make something like that or whatever, and then go for it. The one thing that I do not reference ever is drum and bass because fuck, drum and bass is so hard to reference. It's so hard to like nail the energy of that. But if it comes into like a hip hop beat or a hip hop track or halftime or whatever it is that I'm doing, then a lot of times I can kind of just listen to it and be like, all right, I want to have something that has like 3 main elements and then everything else is kind of like up to whatever it is that I want to do. But yeah, I would definitely say like, no, you should not be like me and do everything from scratch every time. I just do it because I'm a masochist. In fact, I would recommend that you do not do that. Do not be like me. It is gratifying, but sometimes it's annoying because I feel like I can't start. And I've been trying to be better about that as well, about being like, man, I have all this fucking sound content, like over a decade of stuff. Why don't I just use that? And then I'm like, nah, man, you gotta do the thing. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Has anybody seen that YouTube poop, The Rock? It's the same one where he's like, that's my favorite, man. That shit is the best. But yeah. How long have I been live? How long have I been live? Almost 3 hours. Yeah, like I said, I don't really have anything else that I want to do today. If anyone has questions or topics that you want to kind of cover, Friday is like my sound design / chill day, so I don't do production. Or that's what I'm trying for the month. I'm going to try to do production on Monday and Wednesday. Friday is sound design strictly. Saturday is tune feedback while I play some kind of game like Mario Kart, or maybe I'll play some Donkey Kong or, you know, something of that. When and how do I use reverb on a bass? Well, it's a good question because I break a lot of rules. For example, this bass has had a bunch of reverb cooked into it. So hold on. All of these sounds are cut from the same cloth, which is over here. Yeah, so it's all from this. In some capacity or another. But what I did to make it was with polymer here, and I started with a sequence, so it sounded like this. I believe that before I changed this into a Reese, it was actually just like it was just like a sine wave, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But then I like changed it into a Reese or whatever. But I created a sequence on here, and I had all these cool little devices to help me come up with other cool stuff. And then I started adding stuff to this, which this is technically reverb. This is long delay. We have a feedback network right here. Then, yeah, there's just stuff that I can't necessarily explain, but we have some delay here. This is reverb. This is other reverb. This is sweep, sculpt. Like normally people would be like, hey, you should probably do like frequency splitting and all that. But when it comes into making basses like this, nah. So what I usually do is I just smash this, and then what ends up happening is yeah, I just end up getting some cool shit, and I just like I said, I just smush it. But yeah, what happens like if you have reverb and you send it into something that's like really hard distortion, a lot of times it'll push it out of the way. Was that last screen the Bitwig verse? The Bitwig verse? Do what? And then if it's too much, kind of like so, then I can just pull back on it and although I think that there's something else on here that's making it do that. Oh, that was the grid. Yeah, this is the grid. But yeah, that's how I made most of this stuff. And even for this, I turned everything back on, which was not supposed to be there. So actually, let me hit undo a bunch of times. I think I turned mostly everything off, but now I'm just using this as like a low pass Reese. The shift down fill is baked audio or all automation? Well, most of this is an audio, so it's probably a bit of both. I think you're talking about this. On this specifically, I want to say that there's both a tape stop and a... Yeah, I think there's a tape stop. Yeah. This is a tape stop on the master. But Astro, I was going to say that all of the sound design... This project was started on Wednesday, and you can watch the whole stream. After the stream, I went and added all the third-party plugins, but... And probably... Well, actually, this probably isn't going to come out for another couple months, to be honest, but it is in the pipeline of all of the other videos that I have to edit, to which I'm sorry, because... I'm going to become very behind on video uploads and all that, but within the Alckemy Conjures Beats stuff, like I've got all these videos to get through now. Anything that has a face cam, and I just got through the first one, and so this usually takes me 2 days to upload, and I only have Sundays to upload, so there's going to be like one video every 2 weeks. But based off the poll I did, people said that they would rather have a video every 2 weeks than whenever, but unedited. So yeah, at some point, you know, I'll get into this and we'll do the edit. The Serum. Actually, this is kind of nice because you can see this is all right. I did the snare here. Yeah, we started with bite, I guess, and then I made like a little buffer thing. Yeah, and we were getting sounds like that. Yeah. And then this is the hook that we started with. Wow, I must have processed the fuck out of this. Yeah, so we went from... Still sounds okay, but now with going back and doing the edits, this sounds like 10 times better. Yeah. What BPM is halftime? Well, so I make my stuff anywhere from like 70 to 90, but most people work at like 172, you know, or double that. Running sampler like this too. Yeah, it helps me find stuff, you know? It helps me find things that I normally would not just come up with, because I've realized that as a person, I have a pool of creativity, but that only exists within a realm of my experiences. What is that one thing that Samus said in Metroid Other M? Our consciousness is bound by our experiences. And so there's just shit that I know that I can't come up with. But what I try to do is I try to use these tools and this technology and stuff to expose myself to different things, to try to come up with stuff that I normally wouldn't consciously create, you know? It's like I play guitar and I have some skill on the guitar, but like I can only play it to a certain level. But with the tools that we have for technology and stuff, I can kind of push that and be like, yo, I'm going to create something that's going to be like way more diverse and like way more like left field. And that's why I love doing experimental sound design. At some point, I'm probably going to make a video of like, honestly, guys, I don't even know if I want to do presets anymore in the future, because it's not a matter of how do I say this? For the genre that I make, the the requirement of it, at least for me, like when I make my best stuff, is usually not when I design a patch. It's usually when I have just a shit ton of effects going, and then I'm like having weird experimentations and then being like, ah, yeah, that's cool, and like taking that bit. I've tried making presets like that in the past, and actually I have a bunch. Actually, I have like 6 years of experimental presets and stuff. The last patch that, or the last pack that I did was just straight up sounds that were supposed to be like functional, but that's kind of an antithesis to how I work. And in fact, it put me in a rut that I had to like, I just now got back out of. And that was my realization, was I started making content to try to be usable to people. So my crossroad is I either just stick with sample packs, or I continue to make experimental patches that are going to be too niche for the masses. So I don't really know what the answer is to that, but I don't know, man. It's interesting to think about for sure. What's also interesting to me is that like I've seen some people's patches, like Chi is a great example of that. Which I've talked to him about this. I guess they can be starting points, but I almost feel like I'm doing a disservice because if y'all notice, like I never make demo tracks to be like, oh, check this out. This is like my sample pack and like whatever, unless if I just use what's exclusively in there. But like for him, a lot of the stuff that's in here, right? Like he's used. So he's got the spangled bass in here. Like all of this stuff sounds great, but I don't know. I just, yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Chi. I see what you mean by learning how to sample. I hate drag and dropping samples that sound great already. I feel like I did nothing. So that's why I said sample mangling, you know? Could be wrong, but yeah. Well, that's part of why I have the education on my channel, right? Is because I've developed a relatively unique way of working, and it's not so unique that it's like, oh, nobody does this, but it means that like here's what works for me and here's how I get to the things that inspire me, right? And part of it is doing some purposeful sound design. Like I can sit down and make a neuro bass and all that other shit, you know what I mean? But as far as making the stuff that actually goes into the DAW, it still ends up being a sample. That's the best way that I can put that. But the thing is, let me show you this, and then I'll probably head out. Somebody give me a sound type. So it could be a kick, a snare, a bass, a pad. That would be the easiest one. Percussion, but somebody give me a sound type. And if you don't want to stick around for this, the short answer is that you can turn anything into any kind of sound. And that's what the thesis of my channel is. Hence Alckemy, right? Because I can turn anything into anything. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start scrolling very slowly on here, okay? And I want you to tell me when to stop. So ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Say when. Okay, this is a hat. Totally fine. So we're going to turn a hat into a pad. Stretch this out. I'm going to grab a Pro Q. I'm going to find C on here. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pitch this down by like 24. There we go, because I need the lower frequencies in here. And I'm going to take this and find C. Sorry. So we're going to take that and put this right back in here. Sorry. Sorry, guys. My bad. And now let's do like a fifth. Actually, no, let's just keep it at C because then it will be playable. What I'll do instead is I'm going to pitch this down again. There we go. And then we'll bring this back to C. Let's grab the first one. Let's grab another C, which is right here. And I'm just looking at the bottom right here of how to tune this. And I'm picking where I want this to be. Okay, now I'm going to add some fuse compressor to this. There we go. I'm going to add one more EQ under this because I want this to just solely be those. Sweet. So now, grab this, we throw this into a sampler. This is pitched in C, so use something like Big Sky. Make it all pretty. Maybe another fuse compressor to just try to tame the resonances that we created. If we want to change this into a pluck, then we just do this. You can tell what pitch it is, right? Or you can at least tell that there's a melody in here. So, you know, there's that. Bad Luck set a kick, so I'll grab anything. Make a techno track. Actually, I want this to be a little bit more fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this out. Sorry, just trying stuff. Use a ring mod. Ouch, sorry. So yeah, we can just blow this up. Throw a gate. Yeah, so do that like 3 times. Get some cool shit like that. Throw it back in here. Probably turn it down. We can do a pitch bend if we want to make it more like an 808. Sorry, I got lost in the sauce. Let me catch up with chat. I always want to make nasty distortion like that, but I can't. You just gotta... You just kind of have to like experiment, you know, or like I'm showing you now how it's done or how I do it. And then if you just wanted to make it an 808, you could do that too. So you can just... But yeah, you know, it's... You can turn any sound into any kind of sound. I have a video on YouTube where I take a hat and turn it into a neuro bass, and it's kind of the same process, you know. But it's just a means of, you know, understanding envelopes and understanding frequencies and like what pitch range and all that other stuff and characteristics. But after that, you know, like we can change this in anything. You want this to be a pluck? You know, we could do that. We want this to be a pad? We could do that. You know, we can just change this into something like texture mode. Probably just tame the super resonant frequencies. Right, so right there. And let's do something like ROM. Do you want to change this into glitch? Just throw that through a bunch of OTT. Set this to loop. Doesn't really matter at this point. It's just like, what do you want this to do? You know? What do you want this to do? Probably do that. Set this to like every quarter note. Grab something like Saturn. Rather a delay. A dealy. Sorry. Delay plus. Filter plus for some distortion. Yeah, I've done it before on the channel as far as making a song out of a single sample. Actually, hold on. Here it is. Wait. I think this is it. Yeah, so this is on the Bitwig website actually. But what I did was I pretty much made every single sound out of this Tupperware. Which, let me see where it is. I think I might have added like one or two things, but there's this Tupperware thing in this that I resampled and like made the kicks out of, made the drums, made everything except for just a couple of elements. But yeah, everything was made out of the Tupperware sound. Oh wait, hold on. Everything was pretty much made out of this. Yeah, so I made pretty much everything out of that, and this is what we came up with. That sound was mine. But other than that, yeah. But yeah, it's just to prove a point. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at me, I can make everything. But more so in a sense of like, if you look at sound design differently, as opposed to like just getting so fixated on being like, I need to be able to make this one sound, and understand that you can take a sample and do anything, then That's kind of where a lot of doors open up for you. My challenge to any of you out there is to start with just a sine wave and make everything from a sine wave. And then once you've done that, you know, just make your major sound profiles or whatever, go back and then do it again, but from white noise. Because you like a sine wave is essentially nothing, and then white noise is the full frequency range. You know what I mean? Because everything in between, every sound exists between those two. You know what I mean? So it's either, it's always in between a sine wave and white noise. And the nuance and the magic and stuff is just understanding that there's some kind of manipulation in between all of that to create these unique timbres or dynamics or whatever makes a sound unique in the first place. Frequencies, vibrations, whatever. Been into ring mods lately. I use ring mod a lot on a lot of shit. I'm really big into ring mod. But yeah, that's kind of the secret. And once you kind of have that, then you can kind of be like, I don't really like this sound, but I can change it into something else that I like that's going to be cool. And if you just roll with it, you'll find your own sense of like sound design pretty quickly. And there's just a couple of fundamentals that go into, okay, well, I want to turn something into a pad. How do I do that? Whatever. Insert my master classes on the memberships. That's kind of where I teach you how to turn anything into anything, really. I think, do I cover pads and basses and stuff? I know I do it for drums, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Even just giving you the demonstration, you know what I mean? I'm not necessarily trying to push people to a sale or whatever, but just, hey, this is what I do and these are the services that I offer. But I definitely will say, like, it's super liberating because you don't really always necessarily have to be like, yo, man, fuck, I need this synth and I have to do this or whatever. It's like, nah, dude, you can just, if you have the right tools and you have the right know-how, you can change anything into anything. Sorry, I always say this, but you can change any sound into any kind of sound. You can't necessarily turn any sound into any sound. It doesn't really work that way. Especially when you get into complicated shit, it's just too many variables. Way too many variables. But yeah, you can turn any sound into a kick, a snare, a neurobass, whatever. Like, it's all in there. You just kind of have to know how to do it. What about mix and master? Do I have hardware processing? Just hand draw the sound wave. I do have the analog heat plus effects, but I only use this for creative stuff. It's been a while since I've actually turned that on, to be honest. I need to do that. Maybe we'll do that on Monday. I'll make some, at a certain point, I don't know when, but like, I'm going to do something to where I just make something on the Digitact, where I just make something on the Digitone, where I just make something on the iPad. Maybe combine this kind of stuff with that and kind of have fun with it. But then there will be a time to where I'm going to combine all of these and put it into Bitwig and then make a track. And that's going to be really fun. I haven't gotten to it yet. Give me some time. But no, I don't have any mixing and mastering stuff as far as hardware goes. I really try to not buy hardware if possible. Although I will say the Digitone has been absolutely fantastic. Everything that I have here, this is my my complete hardware setup, which I think you can see, has been pretty great. I've got 3 Electron boxes, which kind of serves all of my need, both for sound design and for sampling / sequencing. The Oxy One sequencer, you guys see me use this a lot. I've got a bunch of stuff on that. And then the iPad, I've done plenty of sound design. I can make anything in this. And I have made everything that you've seen in here, I've made in here. It's still not the best for like making music, but it's fantastic for sketching. Patterning 3, Drambo, Koala Sampler. This is a Universal Audio Volt 276. So it's the one with the compressor. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but it's not bad. At some point, I am going to try to bargain with Bitwig to send me the Bitwig Connect, because that thing is pretty great. But I don't think they're going to. As much work as I've done for them, I don't think they're going to. Come on, Bitwig, hook it up. Something that, yeah, I might do another track with just Bitwig stuff, and then I might actually try to pitch it to Bitwig to see if they're interested in buying it out, to doing like a template release or something, you know? I mean, you're a brand amp, you deserve that shit. Maybe, but I try not to look at life like that, you know? Just because like that gets me into entitlements and all that. I think like there's a time and a place to where I might pull that card, but for the most part, I'm more so looking at how I can earn it, you know? Like, for example, I reached out to Squarp Haypax and they have not agreed to send me anything, but I was like, hey, would you be willing to send me a unit, and I want to do some content over it? And that's because that's a tool that I want to use, and to be honest, I don't want to buy it because, well, starving artist. But I was able to kind of paint a picture about how I could help them make video, or how I could help them use my platform to make videos showcasing it and do all of that. And I'm really transparent about this, by the way, because I want you to all know where I come from and why I do things, but it's for the sake of music, and so I don't really care. And also, I'm not that kind of person that's like every 10 minutes buy my shit, discount link, affiliate link, whatever. It's like, if you're gonna do that, I think most people are already predispositioned for it. I feel like I don't need to, you know, unless if I put a brand new product out. But then it's just like, hey, I made something, here it is. If you like it, go for it. But yeah, I'm really careful about that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm not really worried about being called a shill, because at the end of the day, you have to hustle. But you could tell. You can tell when people were trying to do that, you know? Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm just kind of a platform for, you know, being able to use cool stuff and make cool things and hopefully make content that people enjoy and also be educational. I'm really moving away from being an educator on YouTube and mostly saving that for just like private lessons and stuff. But the fact of the matter is that like I've pretty much taught you all everything that I know. I don't know what else to teach there, at least as far as what I know. And so because of that, I'm kind of over tutorials. Like, oh, another neuro-based tutorial? Like, oh, great. Woohoo. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how many do you need in order to get it? Oh, another kick tutorial. Oh, another snare tutorial. Oh, another pad tutorial. It's like, it's all there. It's all the same shit. And it's all relevant, even if it's old now. Because, like, certain things with sound design don't change unless if the technology drastically changes, you know? But you could watch a video on Massive from 15 years ago and apply it to Serum. It's like not a lot has changed. I don't really know what else. Need all of the neuros. Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is like Neurobase is kind of dead right now. It'll probably come back. Holy shit. Jersey just fucking screamed. But yeah, Neurobase is kind of dead. And even though like I'm going to take halftime with me to the grave. You know what I'm saying? It's like people are kind of like, feel that at some point you condense everything you know into a content, but that won't make people that watch be as good where practice and private lessons come in. Yeah, exactly. You're dope. I'm glad you exist. Oh, thanks, man. I mean, if it wasn't me, it'd be someone else too. So I'm nobody special. Somebody would do it. Actually, people are doing it. Like, I'm so glad that Chi recently launched his Patreon. I'm trying to get him on the channel to promote that for him. But oh, yeah, sorry, Astral. I'm not into demonology. It's kind of a meme. But the reason why I always mention stuff like that is because I'm a really big Castlevania fan. So that's where all that stuff comes into play, is from Castlevania. Like, there is so much Castlevania lore in my music. But yeah, I don't really care about that stuff. It's more of I like the mythology, and yeah, I fucking love Castlevania. That's my thing. Right, having like feedback, or like having mindset as opposed to just the formula, is going to take you so much further. But my process will evolve, but the overall approach won't change. You know, I'm like, oh, you have like, there are these requirements in order to get these, you know, specific kinds of sounds. And like, once you have that, then that's where you're supposed to like put your own variables in it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to watch my channel and just try to copy the shit that I do, which it's not up to me. You can, but you're going to fail because you can't be me. I can't be you. I can't be Chi. I can't be Cohen Sound. I can't be Noisia. Neither can you, but you can be you, but you can't be me. You know what I mean? And the more that like we lean into that, the more that I think people are going to be satisfied with their artistic output. I think that's the best way I can describe that. It's hard though, you know, because most people that watch this stuff, like, that's why trap is such a popular genre, because the barrier to entry is about this. The barrier to drum and bass and halftime and all that other stuff is like this. It's like way the fuck up there. You know what I mean? But you could watch this stupid fucking video of this, you know, 15-year-old kid that's like, hey guys, let me teach you how to make an emotional melody. And you can literally look at what they're doing and make the same fucking melody and the same sound that they're using. Or you can buy the same preset or get access to the same preset, and like you can copy it so much easier. But with the stuff that we do, like, nah, man, like you can't. Some people can, but it's a lot harder to fake. And I like found that what I got better at over time is when sculpting anatomy, for example, is self-reflection, observation, and taking my time. Yeah, man, it's really fucking hard to trust the process sometimes, right? I'm so bad at that sometimes. Like, I get really impatient, and I wish that I could just wake up and be like, bam, 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 and cook and be like, fuck yeah, you know, with like minimal effort. Or my effort is so focused that I can just churn out tunes left and right. But dude, sometimes like you really have to slow down. I fucking hate slowing down. Actually, the number one note that I got from my instructor when I was learning and teaching martial arts was slow down, which we have another saying, slower than Sifu. I'm Sifu now, so slower than me. Which is a fucking phenomenal and like extremely incredible quote, or like saying, or whatever. But slower than Sifu is the thing that I've had to do, which is ironic because in tricking I need to actually be faster. I'm too slow, but sorry, other shit. But anyways, guys, I think that this is going to be it for me. If you all want to submit your tracks tomorrow, we're going to be doing some stuff. It'll be fun. That's what happens with me in sound design. I get frustrated. Yeah, dude, you just got to take your time. I was thinking about that the other day when I first started music. I used to dream about a neural interface that just transfer music. Yeah, no, it's not stupid. It really isn't stupid, you know, because there is something to be said about capturing your ideas right as they happen and acting upon them, as opposed to working on, Corey calls it working memory, right? However, I will say that one of the most powerful things that you can do, sorry, you're over here, or chat's over here, but one of the most powerful things that you can do is cultivate the skill of audiating, right? Even if it's shit that you don't know how to make, whether it be singing or drum patterns or whatever, fucking audiating is such a magic hack. And the more that you can daydream about it, about audiating, and like keep it fresh. So like, let's say I wanted to make a track, right? I don't really have anything on the top of my head, but I can do some beatboxing. This would be the first part of it. I'm going to vocalize, right? So let's say I wanted to be like, okay, cool. I got a beat. Record it. Put it in the DAW. replace the sounds with the beat, right? Let's say I'm like trying to come up with a bass line to that, right? It's where it's like, okay, you record that in, you audiate it, you imagine what that is. I don't know what the sound is going to be, and I know that it's going to be experimental, but I can start to fish for that. I can fish for something that's close, and the translation between brain to a metaphysical medium becomes has a higher accuracy, right? Yeah, yeah. Corey taught me about that concept. My partner Corey, she's a classically trained composer and pianist. She's absolutely phenomenal, but that skill has been so helpful, so fucking helpful. And that's where like music theory and even like voice coaching can actually come into play, because like if you can sing a melody, then like you're fucking golden. Thank you so much for sticking around and chatting about all this. Yeah, dude, like that's my favorite thing about streaming is just having conversations about music or whatever the fuck I'm into. You know, I could talk about anything. I've seen Skrillex doing that a long time ago, but rarely do it. But I mean, yeah, lean into it. You know, if you can't come up with a melody, fucking sing one. And if you have a melody, you can make chords out of it. You know, right. So I get that. And so that's where you learn how to create chords out of a melody. So you start to realize where your shortcomings are, and you start working on your skill building based off of your blockchains, right? You're like, fuck, I need chords. Well, if I can sing a melody, then I can add my fifths, my sevenths, my ninths. I can look at my chord variations, right? So my suspended chords, my augmented, my dominant, my suspended, augmented, dominant, diminished. You can look at those variations and start to create a chord progression. Then you can get into your mode changes. I'm not a theory expert, by the way. These are just very basic things that I know. But you know what I'm saying? You can start to work towards it, and it becomes the whole goal for me anyways of like music production and shit is to just build this flow. Oh, so what you might want to do is voice leading, right? So you sing the bottom notes, then you sing the middle notes, then you sing the top notes. Let's just say you have a triad. But voice leading is, you should look that up if you don't know what it is, but that's essentially to where you're writing chords, but you're writing each stack through one melody at a time. So you do low, mids, mid-highs, high note, but instead of going vertical, chord cluster, chord cluster, chord cluster, you go melody, 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 then you have another one on top, you go melody, 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 then another one on top, you go melody, melody, melody. You can do that. And what it really is instead, if you make it more simple, is just harmonize. Just harmonize with it. So that's how you can create your chords, is you just harmonize with whatever singing you have. By the time I start working, I forget the chords. The audiating idea has my brain cooking ideas. I'm not that good yet. Someday though. Well, okay, and like I get that too, but let's say you've got a vocal range of a single octave, so you can sing any melody within a 12-note range. Well, sing that, then sing the different part, and then pitch it up. You know what I mean? Or pitch it up an octave, or pitch it up a fifth. Take sing two melodies that are in key, put them on top of each other. Boom, you've got chords. So like, I know that I'm oversimplifying it, but at the same time, the way that you look at these strategies and the way that you look at making this stuff work is Alckemy AI. No, I don't. No, that scares me. We don't need that. But it's just like learning to think outside of the box and figuring out how to make shit work. Harmonizing is another thing I can't get yet. Seriously onto something here? No, everything I'm saying, like none of this is new. I'm not making any of this up. Yeah, I get what you mean. But even still, you can sing a melody and sing a variation of it and then transpose the melody. And then you can use your ear to find, you know, so like let's say you sing a melody, you find it on the piano roll. Then you sing another melody, find it on the piano roll. But then you take those two melodies and then you know what I mean? You transpose it. Just the way you explain it is really opening a door for me personally. Oh, well, thanks. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly like, you guys hear my music. I very rarely do anything that's highly musical. Very rarely. Um, in fact, I think that the most musical thing that I wrote was probably Corey and I's collab. Yeah, I don't like that one. I don't like Voclia. I tried it. It wasn't very good, to be honest. It was kind of cheeks. But you can use autotune, you know? Autotune, like everyone's doing it anyways. So you can even set, like you can sing a bad melody, put it into autotune in a specific scale, and then that will create a melody for you. And if you're in Ableton, then you can take that and turn that into MIDI on the piano roll. And then like, obviously you're going to have to make some adjustments, but like, you know what I'm saying? Or you can use Navi D's plugin, which takes any audio and like will show you what the MIDI is, and you just go bloop. Which I will probably buy that at some point. Yeah, I don't think that I would ask him for a review copy. I'd probably just buy it at some point just to support him, but I don't want to do that right now. Yeah, and become T-Pain. I'm sprung. How she get me? I'm just kidding. Do you guys remember when I did autotune on Ableton? That was pretty great. You're right, fine. It's just when I ideate before bed and the next morning I'm like, what the fuck did I hear to record this? Yeah, I hear you. Do I know all of the scales? No, I don't have them memorized, but I know how to find them. Honestly, like almost all of my music is Phrygian. Usually D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. So anywhere from D to G is Phrygian, something of that nature. I'm just gonna record everything with my voice first to get an idea and write the track off. Yeah, like it could totally help you write different ideas for a track as well, you know? So like, let's say, and then I am gonna go, but let's say I have an idea for something, right? Let me just close out of this. No. And I'm just gonna do this with drums, but go here, go to this, turn that off, turn this on. Cool, that's the first idea. Cool, guess what? Now I have a call and response. I've got part A, and I've got part B. Oh shit, sorry. You know what I'm saying? And you just put the drums under it. suck a strong way to write. Yeah. I mean, even like hum all the melodies and stuff too. Yeah, it's a really good way to, yeah, random bass noises, and you can come up with phrasing like that and whatever. I tend not to, I don't do it all the time, but it is a skill. It is something that you can absolutely do. But you know what I mean? Like you can even like do this on your phone. So if you have like an 8-track like koala sampler, or you know what I mean, something like that, then you can literally sketch and be like, "Oh, this is supposed to be a track." And then like you've got a little bank of these ideas that you just kind of have to act upon. So it's a really powerful thing, and I would highly recommend leaning into it. I have dedicated tutorials on this. It's called audiating. Um, and then also writing in silence, because even if you don't want to beatbox, you know, you can still make empty clips out of this. So you could do something like this to where there's no sound under here, but you're like, look at this very quickly. Like that. There's another kick. Right? Then right here, you've got, look. So there you go. I did the placement, and now I can call this my kicks. I can call this, hey baby, my snares. Speak of the devil. Hey baby.
Me and the devil.
And the devil. You can call this hats.
Are you on camera?
Yeah.
They see me kissing you. Hello.
So, but yeah, like, you know what this is. Oh, sorry, that's actually supposed to be a snare. But you know what I mean? Like, you can write with the dummy clips and just be like, you know, I have a killer headache. Yeah, for sure. No worries. Thanks for coming in. It's cute. It's fuck. You guys are great. She's pretty great. Now let me call my dog in here and let me smooch her. What? No, it's fine. Girls are the devil. I don't know. She's pretty great. But I know where you're coming from. Chin up, King. You're great too. Yeah. So this is, again, this is what I cover in these videos, but these are just different things that you can utilize to work, and I'd highly recommend just hopping into it. But yeah. All right. Much love, guys. Thank you so much for everything. If you guys want to support the channel, alckemy.com, book a lesson. Oh yeah. Fuck. Dude. All right. Tomorrow, tune feedback. I'll probably be playing Mario Kart or Donkey Kong or something, but join the Discord. Hold on. Join the Discord and hop into Alckemy's feedback tomorrow. So that'd be here. Then I will take your submissions and give you feedback on that, probably around, it's going to be earlier than when I started today, so probably around 3 p.m. my time. Right now it's 10:03 p.m. So hop in, submit a track, and play games with me. If anybody wants to play Mario Kart with me, you're more than welcome to, but that's what we're doing tomorrow. So anyways, guys, much love. Thanks so much. I will see hopefully all of you tomorrow, if not sometime next week. Oh, Monday, I'm not streaming. I have a gig. I have a performance gig. I'm doing like a corporate thing and doing tricking and flips and shit. So I don't do those often, but every once in a while I do that. But I won't be here. So maybe I'll do a late night Tuesday stream, and then Wednesday, and then Friday. Cool. Cool. Okay. Now I'm leaving. Bye everybody. I'll see you later. Need to get out of here. Need to get out the theater.